Hey everybody, welcome back to Colony Drop. It's your favorite Gundam podcast. My name is Isaac.
And my name is Brian, and this is a podcast where we talk about everything and anything related to the Mobile Suit Gundam franchise. From the anime, to the music, to the movies, to the models, to the food, to the clothes, you name it, we do it. What are we talking about today, Isaac?
It's a musical episode again, everybody. Dun 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 dun. We're not actually going to sing, though. We're going to tell you our top 5 list for Gundam end songs, which is the songs they play at the ending of each episode.
And let me just clarify, you would not want us to sing, listeners, particularly me. I don't know about Isaac.
Hang on. The karaoke charity episode is going to happen. Maybe not this year, but it's going to happen one day.
But that's different. Yeah. I can embarrass myself for charity.
Yeah.
But not to put it out as a real topic for our listeners.
I found the perfect charity, too. It's for Zeonic widowers and widows.
I thought you were going somewhere darker with that.
Oh, no. What would be...
We'll save that for the Char episode, the Char-tude episode.
What would be darker than that? Like the Sydney Survivors Fund or something?
all of Char's abuse victims.
Oh, God. We're not going to make enough money to put a dent in that.
So similar to our opening episode a few weeks ago, Isaac, I think the same disclaimer still applies, right? Neither you nor I speak Japanese, so therefore we have no real idea what the lyrics of these songs mean.
Right.
So we're mainly going by feel here. But I think maybe at least for me, the criteria of what makes a good ending is a little bit different from what makes a good opening.
Interesting. Explain.
So when we talked about openings, I said that a good opening to me has to have some energy because it has to make me want to watch the show, to get excited for the show. I don't think that really applies to endings because as an ending, by default, you've already watched the show, right?
Right, yeah.
So I feel like a good ending to me has to make me feel one of 3 things. It has to either make me feel like a nostalgic fondness for the show that I just watched, or it has to make me feel some sort of melancholic feeling, particularly if it's like a sad show. Like Gundam's a fairly, I'd say, depressing show overall. It's not like a feel-good show, right?
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah. It's got weight.
Yeah, it's got weight. Or it has to blend well with whatever shocking revelation that I just saw in that episode, where, some reveal happens or some cliffhanger happens, and then boom, and you flow right into that ending song, and it just goes perfect, and you're just like, oh!
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. I mean, I wasn't really sure what you were meaning, but the way you articulated that, I think you're completely right. It has to really sort of put an end note on everything you feel after the episode ended, or it has to be something that's like, well, one of my songs at least is like really catchy, or it captures the spirit of the whole series.
Yeah.
2 of my choices really. I don't know about you personally in terms of taste, but for me, the end song can be much more of a downer in a way compared to what I prefer for my intro songs, which have to be a bit more upbeat and catchy,
Oh, absolutely.
Like energize me and pump me up for the start of the episode. But on the outro, it's like, oh, man, this is terrible. There's a lot of people died in this war or something.
Agree. I 100% agree. I think I'm looking at my list here, and of my top 5, none of them are upbeat. None of them are happy. Yeah. Some of them are not sad, but they're definitely melancholic, I'll say. One thing that I thought maybe would help the listeners is like to give them a sense of your taste. Do you have any other endings from other anime that you feel are like top tier?
Wow. That's hard to say. I'm going to say no. And I'm also, and just to add on to that, not like there aren't good anime ending songs or anything like that, but I'm going to confess that like a lot of people, once that ending song starts, I hit next on whatever streaming platform I'm watching on. So I generally don't get the full song. Like you get enough of the song to kind of know, if it's not too bad, if you kind of like it, or if you really don't like it. And then you move on to the next episode. But I'm trying to think. I've seen so many animes. I think Outlaw Style had a terrible end credit song. Sorry. Cowboy Bebop. There you go. Really cool, atmospheric kind of bebop-y jazz song. Yeah, off the top of my head, that's really all I remember.
Yeah, that's interesting because two of my favorites are also from Bebop. So you have the Real Folk Blues,
Yeah.
Which is primarily the ending theme, but then the last episode has a different ending theme of Blue.
Yeah.
Which is, maybe the saddest.
Watch Cowboy
anime
Bebop
ever.
Listeners, watch Cowboy Bebop. We recommend it. Then again, if you've seen it, you didn't like it, hey, it wasn't your cup of tea.
Yeah. Some of my other favorites are Run 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 from One Piece, Heart of Sword from Rurouni Kenshin, and Life is Like a Boat from Bleach. So those are quite the array of endings. So hopefully that gives the listeners a sample of what I'm looking for in a good ending here.
Interesting. Is your list once again in order of boring to awesome?
Yes, I will be going from number 5 up to number 1, to working my way up.
You heard it first, listeners. It's under the Brian system.
So I'm also curious, Isaac, to see if we have any of the same on our list here.
Huh.
Because I going into the opening episode, I knew that we would have some the same, for sure on 083 and for sure some on Seed. But I'm not as confident here on the endings. Definitely based on what I chose.
All bets are off here. Like I think there's one that we'll share for sure. The rest, it's anyone's guess. I doubt it though. I think we'll diverge too much.
My number 1 is something that we've never talked about before.
Interesting.
I hope that it's not on your list too.
I'd be surprised.
All right. You're gonna hate my number 5. My number 5 is Ayen ni Amuro by Ko Ikeda. I'm probably mispronounced the name of the song and the guy's name probably, but this is the original ending theme from Mobile Suit Gundam in 1979. And yes, this song is old, but I love it. The song fits 0079 and Amuro's journey great. It makes you feel alone, just like Amuro does, probably the first half of the series. It starts out very depressive, like Amuro's mood a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And then it gradually kind of brightens up as Amuro begins finding himself, and he just kind of like in the series how he eventually learns to fight for his friends to make sure everyone survives. If you look at the translated lyrics, they're very fitting for the show. It talks a lot about don't turn around now, Amuro, keep going forward for tomorrow, for forever, which is perfect for what he's going through. He's trying to basically win the war. He's putting it all on his shoulders and going forward. So it just feels like through that ending that you're going through the conflict with him, which you are, given that you are watching the show. You just watched an episode and now they're hitting you with this ending theme. So yeah, it's an old song. It sounds old, but you know what? It fits the show, and it's an old show. So I like it, and it's very nostalgic. I know everyone, even if you don't like it, you can definitely hear the guy going Amuro.
I mean, yeah, depending on what platform you're watching, it'll show closed captions automatically.
Right.
But yeah, I really like that song too, Brian. Actually, it has so much weight to it. Like he just said, he said the words out of my mouth. Starts out as a downer, and you're like, wow, this is war is hell. And then it gets pretty upbeat, and you're watching the credits, and the rest of the crew shows up on screen. It's not just him by himself. Mm-hmm. Very nice choice, Brian. Respectable choice.
Thank you. All right, hit me with number 5, Isaac.
All right. This song, when it plays towards, I believe, the last third or last quarter of this series, it's a great song for how much the stakes have raised, how many people have died and been pointlessly slaughtered in the course of war. This is Find the Way from Gundam Seed. So it's kind of a very slow kind of piano song with female vocals. I think it's by Mike Nakashima. Out of the Gundam Seed songs, sort of the ending songs, this one had enough emotional weight, and it was composed well enough that it was a pretty good end song after watching people getting nuked or Genesis like killing 200,000 people and all that. So.
Can we turn Genesis into a verb? Can you say that they got Genesis?
You got Genesis. Maybe they only use that in the plants. Like it's too horrifying in like the Earth Alliance, so they never refer it to that way. They're like, oh yeah, I remember like I was mowing the lawn. I looked up outside my plant, and I saw the Third Fleet get Genesis.
That should be like a, on the wiki how it says how people died. It should say Genesis.
It's just a list of like half of the officers we see in the Earth Alliance.
Yeah. Status KIA semicolon Genesis.
Genesis. Sure, we'll introduce that at the next Blue Cosmos meeting.
All right, on to number 4.
Do it.
My number 4 is I Am by Aimer, I guess, or Aimer. I don't know how to pronounce the person or the band.
Yeah.
So this is from Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn, OVA 6 from 2013. Probably the reason this isn't higher on my list is because it was only used in that one OVA for an ending. I think pretty much each OVA of Unicorn had a different ending, which makes sense from like a marketing perspective. But
yeah, why not?
If you look back, it really was only in one thing. So the placement of this song is perfect. Like the Unicorn like boosts into the battlefield and he comes into view, and as he gets pretty close to the camera, the vocals hit, and then Banagher says, Ensign Riddy, because he's looking for Riddy, and this is when Banagher's he's got like the heavy weapon system or full weapon system on the Unicorn, so he's got like the big boosters and just all the guns, at this point. He's ready for that final battle. And then that's when Riddy sees him, and he just says Banagher in this like most hateful way. Like I can't do it well, but he's like Banagher, and then they like boost toward each other, and you just know that they're just going to destroy each other. And then the music climaxes with their emotion, and then I think the OVA 6 just kind of ends there. So I think it just perfectly sets up for the final episode. It's just a great song. I think this actually ranked within the top 10 on that same poll that I was talking about last time we talked about music, which was the NHK. I think it was called like Big All Gundam or Big All Time Gundam poll for songs. Right. And I think this one was on there. So yeah, I Am from 2013 from Unicorn, OVA 6.
From what I remember, it's like it's not a slow song, right? It's actually kind of a fast kind of beat to it, tempo.
It does, yeah, especially in the beginning. Yeah, it's very much like a tension builder, I would say. Okay, yeah, you're right. It's a bit of an oddball. So I probably take that back. Yeah. It's not I wouldn't call it upbeat, but it's definitely not sad or melancholic.
It's got energy. Yeah, it's an energetic song.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember it. Yeah. It's pretty cool. All right. My number 4, and I'm going to be challenged on this, and that's okay. But let me just say that I saw this show initially on Toonami on Cartoon Network. So this is the song they use at the end credits. And I'm not a big fan of this series, but damn, that is a catchy, good song. This is that Shining Finger song that they played at the end of G Gundam that they aired on Toonami on Cartoon Network.
Oh.
I know it's the intro. I know it's like, the kind of theme intro song too. But they played at the credits for some reason when they decided to cut it for American audiences. And I always thought, okay, this show isn't that great, but it's a pretty cool end song. It's got like a good little fun beat to it, It's for the anime, I guess it's a perfect match, right? Because of how lighthearted the anime takes itself and,
Oh, absolutely. You know what? Look, I'm not even gonna challenge you on this because you hear that, folks out there. Isaac, he's always ragging on G Gundam, and now all of a sudden he puts G Gundam in his top 5 ending songs.
I'm slowly.
I don't know.
I'm slowly coming around.
Yeah, I think he could be a secret G Gundam admirer there.
I think it's starting to happen, especially with my G Gundam side stories. Ideas.
Yeah. See.
Yeah. See what's gonna happen is like G Gundam will replace Seed. Like, since I like Seed less now, seeing it the second time, I'm probably gonna like G Gundam more now that I've seen so much more Gundam since when I initially saw G Gundam.
True.
Like Build Fighters Try. Like the more Gundam you've seen, the better that show is.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
I like it.
Thank you.
I think it's called I love that you just called it that Shining Finger song too. Like,
that's all you need to know.
Your hubris or whatever refused to even learn the title. You're just like, that G Gundam song over there.
Well, I was doing my research and I was like going through the songs and I was like, this is not the song they played at the end of G Gundam. And of course it probably was when they aired in Japan, right? And then I finally found the Toonami version and I was like, oh, of course, this is the song I heard at the end of every G Gundam. And I was like, yeah, this counts. I mean, they aired it for me, so this is my choice.
I think that's absolutely fair. That is how you consumed it. That's how you know it.
Shining Finger.
Yeah, see? So there you have it, folks. The Shining Finger song made it on both the opening and ending lists for Isaac and I.
It might be, it's in the lead to win.
Yeah, there you go.
Come on, Men of Destiny.
Okay, number 3. So my number 3 is from Gundam Seed, Anani Ishoda Atano ni.
Oh.
Opening 1 by Seesaw for Gundam Seed back in 2002. So similar to the first opening, which is Invoke by TM Revolution, which was on my opening list. The opening notes for this ending are just very iconic, and you can instantly know that this is Gundam Seed. You're watching Gundam Seed. And there may not be another 1-2 opening ending combination in all of Gundam that's as good as Invoke being opening one and this one being ending one, I think, across all the Gundam shows. Seed had great music all around, even if you don't like the show. To me, this was like an all-star pair of an opening and ending. And the first 20 seconds of the song are so effective. Like, the beginning notes open and they sort of creep up on you by letting you know, okay, the episode has ended and we're getting into the ending now. And then the vocals kick in, but they're alone. There's no music at first, and then the violin hits, and it's just so sad. So it really just drives home like the consequences of whatever happened to that episode. It just feels very personal, which I feel like a lot of Seed's strengths were in that character relation kind of area. So I don't know. This one, to me, is a standout for sure.
That's a great pick. It always had a lot of weight too, right? Like, I don't know. It's always like the crew and like they're looking at like something burning, and then like the credits are playing, and then like they're like and then you hear like whatever that instrument is, like the little ding 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 ding. I'm gonna kill the karaoke episode.
Maybe you can also do the instruments.
Probably, I'll just mouth it.
It's gonna be a disaster. I can't wait.
Oh boy.
Do you think we need to dress up for the karaoke episode too?
Maybe. I don't know. I like. Yeah, why not? You just did it. You set us up.
Yeah.
You set us up, boy. Brian. What would we dress up as? Like, just
I don't know.
Cosplay, right? Like. Earth Alliance officer, Federation officer.
Yeah.
Xeon.
Yeah, you
pilot.
could have multiple too.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
You can dress up as Lacus.
Oh, that could be. Yeah, there could be a side story where like Lacus meets Lacus and they duke it out.
Oh wow, I got my money on Lacus.
Oh yeah, Lacus sounds like she's much more well-adjusted to society than someone named Lacus.
Oh god, that just reminded me. In Seed, remember they have like, Seed Destiny. There's like a decoy Lacus, a fake Lacus.
Yeah, Mir Campbell.
I just remembered that. God, that series got so weird.
I hope. I mean, I guess they haven't finished the new Destiny dub yet, but I hope somehow they change Mir's name because they changed, Lacus's name. Maybe they'll call her like, I don't know,
Meyer
or something.
The way they pronounce things. Meir. Yeah. All right, marching along. My number 3. Now, this song, if you remember when this came out, this song was. They promoted the heck out of this song. Like, you couldn't get like a commercial or a trailer for this without hearing that song. But they also played it at the end, and it was very well done. I'm not a big fan of this series either, but man, they really nailed like the music for this. Almost every song, or at least the major songs for this series, were really good. This is White Reflection by 2Mix for Gundam Wing Endless Waltz.
This narrowly missed my list. It's a great song. It's
got a great little kind of. I also thought like a Christmas beat. Actually, I think they did purposely make it kind of Christmassy because I think the movie takes place during Christmas. Yeah.
I believe you're right. Yeah.
So it's kind of like a Christmas kind of techno, all your little Gundam pilots running around and trying to save the world again. So I always liked it. And what else did they do? What's the other song that 2Mix did? Anything they were involved in with Gundam Wing, it always had a really good pop kind of beat that I liked. Oh, Rhythm Emotion.
Yeah, it was Rhythm Emotion, which was number 1 on my opening list.
Wow. I mean, they make really good music.
They do.
The music was better than the series. But anyway.
Ooh.
Shots fired.
Incoming hate mail. Incoming Buster Rifle shots.
Here comes the Troa and the Hero Yui fans. I'm like, you're an idiot. Like, you're with Romefeller. All right.
They can go back to their Leos.
Yeah. Go back to them.
That'll just be your defense. Just reply with a picture of a Leo.
Yeah. Say this is what you like. All right, Brian, take us to number 2.
Number 2. So this is number 2, which I guarantee is probably not on Isaac's list. It is Beyond the Time by TM Network, which was the Char's counterattack ending theme from 1988.
Wow.
And given that this plays after/during the Axis shock, It has a very like space ethereal feeling, and which makes sense. I mean, I think TM Network is a progressive rock band, so I think that fit perfectly. The title here is spot on. Beyond the Time, Amuro and Char's rivalry sort of transcends time, and now so do their spirits apparently, along with Lala. You know, after the Axis shock, they all kind of just fade away into the ether. The lyrics go with the film. You know, you can change the future, you can change your destiny. It opens a bit mysterious, and then it kind of brightens up, gets a little livelier as you realize that the Earth is saved now. But it does sort of maintain that melancholic, ethereal tone, given that you are also now realizing that while the Earth is safe, our hero has probably perished in sacrifice to make it that way. So I thought it was a good send off for Amuro. You know, he did change the future. He did change his destiny. So it feels like a song for the end of everything, and it was at the time. Like that was the capstone of the Gundam franchise at the time. So
true.
I think this song holds up, and I think this one also ranked pretty highly on that Gundam song poll from NHK. So
wow. Beyond
the Time, 1988.
Well, you're right, Brian. That's not anywhere on my list, but I respect your choice. Does that song have a saxophone in it because of the time period?
It may. Okay. I don't recall. But you know what? If it does, more power to him.
You know what?
Saxophone is underrated.
Yeah. Well, hang on. Not to run off on a tangent, but are you with me in just having absolute just ear pain when you hear the Zeta end credit song? That horrible saxophone that blares.
I don't think I dislike it as much as you do.
Oh my god.
It definitely was not like memorable to me. It wasn't one that I even considered for this list. And I did go back and listen to it, and I thought to myself, I don't remember this very much, nor would I consider putting it on my list. But I'm pretty sure the Zeta openings and endings have like a really big following. So I do think there's like a pretty large fan base out there who really love those songs. Maybe. There's also, not to get too much off topic, but sure. I know another song that you hate is the F91 ending theme.
Yeah. You know what?
There's a lot of people that love that too.
I'll say this. That song works when they play it during the movie, when like Mitsurona shows up and he like salutes like a legion of, crossbone troops or something, crossbone pilots. Because that, the song works at that point. But at the end of the movie, I don't know. It just felt weird hearing it again, and maybe not the best song, but they paid for the song, so why not use it twice?
I don't actually remember if it was used once or twice in the film, but if you're saying it was used twice, does that influence how much you like an ending theme? Like if it shows up once and then they use it again, is it less impactful the second time? Like in general?
I wouldn't say impactful, but I would say it matters. It does kind of count. Your ending song should maybe be different than the song where one of the villains shows up and like salutes. There's different situations to use different kinds of music. It sets a tone.
That's fair.
But
That's
hey,
fair.
fans like it.
All right, hit me with your number 2, Isaac.
Okay, Brian. I think this might be on your list. It might be your number 1. I don't know. We'll see.
Ooh.
Every time I hear this song, it is like the saddest song for an end credits in Gundam, which matches exactly what happens in this side story. This is the end song to 0080 War in the Pocket. It is that very sad piano kind of synthesizer song that plays at the end of every episode of War in the Pocket. I couldn't find the name. but yeah, oh man. It was the perfect song for this series because of how much death and loss there is and how young all the characters were and how affected they were by the war. So to hear such a sad song at the end of a really short series, it always had a lot of weight, I thought.
Yeah, that is actually not on my list, but I agree that it is very sad. I think it was almost too sad for me to put on my list.
Yeah, it might be the saddest ending song, but it was very well done. Whoever chose it, how it went with the whole series as a whole, man. Yeah,
and it also gets sadder as you go on, right? Because at first, no one's dead yet.
Right, yeah. And then at the end, everyone's dead.
Rest in peace, Bernie.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Man.
All right, you ready for number 1, Isaac?
I wish I could, I'm really in the dark here, everybody. I have no idea what Brian's going to pick. I'm trying to guess, but I can't. Do it, Brian. Do it, number one.
All right. If it makes you feel better, I have no idea what your number one is either.
Okay.
So my number one, which I'll be honest, I did not start listening to this frequently until like probably a year ago.
Wow.
And I don't remember how or why I missed it before. I think I probably missed it because I'm a lot like Isaac sometimes, where I just skip the ending, right? We just need to get to the next episode.
Yeah, good things to do.
But I originally came upon this, in a compilation on YouTube, and now this is now my measuring stick for endings for Gundam. To me, this is straight up the most haunting song ever made for a Gundam series, and it is by far the best ending. It is called Tsuki no Meiyu, or Moon's Cocoon, which was composed by Yoko Kanno and sung by Aki Okui from Turn Gundam from 2000. Yep.
Wow, Brian.
Do you know what song this is, Isaac?
No, this came out of left field. I've seen not all of Turn Gundam, and I definitely don't remember hearing like all the end songs. I just kind of moved on.
Yeah, I bet. It was the ending theme for the last 10 episodes, I think.
Wow.
It wasn't like an even front half, back half split. I think it was maybe 10 episodes towards the back, maybe not the last episode. But it was also used as the ending theme for either one of or maybe the second compilation movie. If you've not listened to this song, I definitely recommend you go seek it out, because I just think it's great, and I don't know why more people don't talk about it. The first few notes are so quiet, and they grow to this like space-like hum, and then these like ethereal vocals come in and just kind of take over. And to me, it's just like a profound song that goes perfect with like a space opera story, which fits great for Turn Gundam. And then you think like, okay, that was already great, and maybe that's all this song has to offer. But then the vocals get even deeper, and it starts sounding very cinematic. And I just think it's like a masterpiece. I've been listening to it for a while, and I didn't even realize that Yoko Kanno was the one who composed it. And that makes perfect sense, because she's the one that composed the Real Folk Blues and Blue from Cowboy Bebop. I mean, she did all the Cowboy Bebop songs.
Wow. So
I didn't even know that she did this song, and now I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's why I like it so much. I mean, because everything she does is great. So
it was done by a master.
Yeah. So Moon's Cocoon is my pick for number one, and I don't think it's even close, to be honest with you.
May I just say the title is very appropriate for Turn Gundam.
Yes, perfect. And that's tonally it just fits the ending to Turn Gundam too. So it's very just it's very Hollywood. It reminds me a lot of like Interstellar. Movie.
Wow. I'm gonna listen to it after this.
Yeah, it's a good one. Go seek it out.
Cool.
All right, what do you got for me, Isaac?
All right, we've come to the number one, the one that I feel isn't maybe necessarily a song I listen to over and over again, but I feel like as an ending song in Gundam, it's really hard to beat. And this is a song that's already appeared on your list, Brian. It was the end to the original 0079 Mobile Suit Gundam song.
Wow, yeah. I am shocked.
Amuro, don't look back.
I am shocked, but I'm proud of you, Isaac.
Yeah, I mean, what I feel when I first listened to this song was you just feel bad for Amuro. I mean, bad in a way that he has to go through all this stuff. He's a teenager. I don't even remember how old he is. What is he, 16? I think he's 16, yeah.
I think 16
He's
sounds
16.
Right.
He has to deal with all this stuff. He's traumatized. Oh, God. And I guess if he did stop and look back, he probably would never get out of his bed. They'd
probably not.
They'd find him like, depressed in there or something, Yeah. So I feel like this is a very sad song. It's one of the few songs I think I've listened to that starts off like a really down beat, and then it just becomes very triumphant at the end, or, inspires confidence. And you move on to the next episode. It's also a very short song. This might be the shortest Gundam ending song. I think it's like, it would barely be a minute.
Yeah, it's not very long. Yeah, I mean, this was clearly composed for the show.
Right. So it'll always be important, and that's why it's on my list.
I like it. I'm stunned, but I approve of your pick.
Until we have like a Dom side story ending song, like this will be my list.
What would the lyrics be? Would it just be like Dom, 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 and then like the skirting noises?
There'd be like a lot of that, like, remixed into it or something, like Wow.
Then that sound of the heat rod melting through a GM.
Oh wow. 083.
Oh,
that was one of the best parts in 083. That poor GM pilot.
Yeah. Nothing left of him.
No.
He's getting an empty casket for sure.
Probably. They're just whatever they can pick up with a wet sponge.
Oh. Do you have any honorable mentions, Isaac?
I do. And all right. This was a song from Iron-Blooded Orphans. I think it might have been the second ending song that they used. It had this really fast, cool beat to it. I don't exactly remember the name because I was like, well, my list is going to be 5. I'm not going to put too many honorable mentions on it because these are ending songs. And yeah, I just remembered Iron-Blooded Orphans had like a really cool end song that was pretty upbeat.
Yeah, I have 2 from Iron-Blooded Orphans on my honorable mentions. The first ending was good. It was called Orphans no Namida. And that was a depressing song, fits the series. It reminds me a bit of like a James Bond song, which I thought was interesting.
Wow.
The fourth ending was called Frisia. And that is just like a straight up sad song, slow female vocals, similar to the Seed one that you brought up. Being the last ending, this is the one that you hear when I think Orga's dying, as well as the last episode when basically the rest of the cast dies pretty much. Mm-hmm. So obviously a very, very sad song. I also had White Reflection on my list from Gundam Wing. Yeah, it's a good one. White Reflection is interesting to me because it was only in Endless Waltz. It wasn't in the show, but I feel like it gets just as much love as all of the ones that were actually in the show for many episodes.
Because they spammed it everywhere they could when like Endless Waltz was coming out, and when they re-released it, when they re-released the original Gundam Wing series. Oh god. You couldn't get away from anything by 2mix.
Yeah. Another one on my list was I Want to Go to a Place by Raifu or Riefu. I don't know how to pronounce her name. From Seed Destiny. I think that was like the third ending. And I don't know, I think I'm just a fan of hers. Her songs always just make you feel nostalgic for something. But in Gundam, that means being nostalgic for dead people. Because I think that ending has like images of the Seed Destiny crew, but then it also brings up images of the Seed crew. But obviously a lot of the Seed crew is dead at this point. So it's very sad.
Wow.
She actually sung one of my other ones that I liked from Bleach called Life is Like a Boat. So when she sang this one in Seed Destiny, I was like, oh, hey, I like you. But then I was like, oh, what are some upbeat ones? Because most of this is pretty depressing. So the upbeat picks were, no surprise, Build Fighters Ending 1 is very upbeat, and so is Build Fighters Try Ending 1. I don't even know what the title of that one is, but I'm pretty sure it should be. If the name is not Go Fight, it should be, because that's what they keep saying. Go fight, go fight. And I just thought that was perfect.
Man.
Yeah.
There's more ending songs that like... See, I don't even remember your Turn A song, but it sounds awesome. And the singer who sings it's awesome. I mean, there's like hidden gems out there, right? That like we haven't really heard of completely,
Well, I think that's probably due to what you said, right? I mean, most people, when you get to the endings,
it's like, next.
Okay, it's time to go,
Yeah.
Especially in America, right? Because if you're in Japan and maybe you watch this stuff on TV and they actually air the ending, maybe you have a higher chance of watching it. But if you're, in America, when we tend to binge our anime, especially if you're watching a series that's, older, right, and you have all the episodes, then you kind of just want to watch the next one. And so you may not even, for better or worse, you may not listen to the ending. And in your case, when you watch G Gundam, the American TV might cut it completely differently. Our channels don't have time to put the whole 1 minute on each end of the show for the opening and the ending. So
that's true.
We're lucky if they give us 15, 20 seconds as an opening.
Pretty much, yeah.
And same thing for the ending, right? And I guess credit to Toonami, right, for even doing that. They didn't have to do that. They could have chose 20 seconds of something else. But probably like you, they were like, oh, this is a catchy song. We need to get it in there somewhere. Yep. And if we can't put it in the opening, then F it. Let's just shove it into the ending to make the fans happy. So
they did their marketing right. And Seed has that problem where, like, before the episode ends, credits show up in like the final scenes. So you're like, let me grab the remote, and then like you just move it up to like the next button, and you're like, next. Yeah. All right, great. The Archangel survived another day.
That's our Netflix mentality now, right?
Yeah. Next.
You can go straight to the next episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, isn't that the default on most Netflix apps now, right? Where the episode ends and within a few seconds, it's already trying to move you to the next episode. It doesn't even want you to finish the credits anymore.
Yeah. Or you can jump the gun and just move to the next button yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're Isaac and even more impatient to like, not wait the 10 seconds it takes Netflix to move to the next episode.
Hurry up, my cake's baking.
What kind is your cake today?
It's a Dagwin cake. I cut it in the shape of Dagwin's face.
So just round, huh?
It's just this potato shape. It's got like a stern look to it.
Is it a Yukon Gold or an Idaho Russet?
It's he's definitely a Russet, right? He's kind of a lumpy guy. It's got licorice glasses.
It's got a lot of knots on him.
There you go. Yeah, they're filled with fudge.
Potato face Dagwin. Well, Isaac, those were good lists. Not to be too conceited, but I think our lists were pretty good. They were pretty varied.
Yeah, I feel like things didn't really come out of left field as much as I thought they would. I mean, also people, every Gundam fan must be running around with a list of top opening songs in their head, but ending, that's a little, you kind of have to sit down and think about that. But yeah, we have good lists.
Let me ask you that. How many? Because I'll be honest, I had like openings. I was like, okay, I could think of 5 right offhand, but let me do my due diligence and make sure that I really think those are the 5 best. For endings, though, I was like, oh, I think I have 3 that I want to put on the list for sure. But I got to really think about the others. How many did you have off the bat?
Off the bat, I had 2. I knew War in the Pocket and 0079 would be on there. After that, I was like, oh boy, this is anyone's game. Then I had to do research. I had to sit down and say, really, what was the end? Like, I really enjoyed this series. What was the ending song of that? And I'm like, wow, I forgot that ending song's trash. And then I had to look at like other series, and I'm like, okay, I vaguely remember this one. Then I was like, oh yeah, G Gundam, I forgot. Like, I didn't really enjoy the episodes that much, but man, when it got to that ending song, that was a fun ending song.
So when I brought that up on the opening episode, did you not even realize that it was actually the opening?
No, it was only later where I was like, huh. I'm pretty sure that was... I thought that my head, oh, they recycled that song and just used it at the end credits. And then I realized...
got it.
Yeah, only by doing the research, I was like, wait a minute. That almost never happens in a series where they recycle the opening song into the end credits. So clearly this was a case of... situation. They were like, okay, what would these Americans really want to hear at the end? Probably not the original end songs. Let's just go with our campy, fun, upbeat song.
Those damn Americans and their short attention spans.
Their thick skulls. They're running around. They don't even use the metric system.
I bet you they thought we had thick skulls because we were all into boxing. Because apparently that's all our Gundams can do is box in that show.
He can box and he can pull out revolvers and what else does he do? Tackle.
He wears a bunch of star-themed clothing.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well, he'll be in trouble when Greed Gundam shows up and out Devil Gundam's the Devil Gundam.
Charges them 29% interest on a short-term loan.
Good lord.
On like a payday loan.
That's obscene. Fiduciary Gundam from Neo Switzerland's gonna have to come over.
The most diabolical plot in Gundam history.
Yes, so we'll over leverage your countries and take collateral.
And then they conquer you for oil.
Even in the far future, they're still after oil. Gundams have like the miniature little reactors and whatever they have that powers the colonies, but they're still trying to get oil.
It's got like the BP logo.
Yeah. All right, where's that oil?
So listeners, I hope you enjoyed our top 5 list of endings and openings for that matter. Or let us know your favorite endings. What series they're from, who sang them. If there's different versions, let us know which version you like. And especially let us know if you have a favorite ending that you feel is out of left field and that no one talks about enough.
Yeah. And if you can't really think of a favorite Gundam ending song, tell us another ending song to an anime series you like. It's an open floor.
So please like, comment, subscribe. You can send us a comment on YouTube and on Twitter and Instagram, both at Call Me Dropcast.
All right, everybody. Thanks again for listening to another great episode. You have a great rest of your week.
Stay safe out there, everybody.